Fable 5 scored more than double Claude Opus 4.8 on Frontier Code Diamond, 29.3% versus 13.4%, and it costs twice as much per token. That gap can run you an extra $50 per million tokens at scale. Both models just dropped, and everyone's asking the same thing. Is Fable 5 actually worth paying double? I'm comparing them across 5 real tests, and every number I'm using comes from sources I can actually point to. The model that wins on raw intelligence loses on one feature that could be a total deal breaker for your workflow, and that comes down to the pricing and real-time test at the end. My name is Brian, and I'm in these tools 12 hours a day, so you don't have to be. I ran both models through the same prompts, tracked every number, and I'm giving you the honest breakdown so you can make the right call for your actual workflow. You've probably heard both tools are great at reasoning, but if you're running a pipeline that processes hundreds of thousands of tokens a day, picking the wrong one could cost you real money or real capability. And this comparison is for anyone making that call right now. Test 1, reasoning and coding. So, 29.3% on Frontier Code Diamond is the number that kicked off this whole comparison, and if your model can't handle hard coding problems, you're either shipping bugs or burning hours on manual fixes. And this is where you find out if Fable 5's premium price actually buys you something real. Alright, so what I looked at was Frontier Code Diamond, and Fable 5 came back at 29.3%, while Claude Opus 4.8 sat at 13.4%, which is more than double on the same benchmark. Worth noting, Opus 4.8 has an 88.6% SWE bench verified score that Fable 5 doesn't have a comparable figure for, so it's not a clean sweep. Fable 5 takes this one, and I was expecting Opus 4.8's strong SWE bench number to make this closer. But on the benchmarks where both had published figures, Fable 5 ran more than double the score, which puts Fable 5 up 1-0 on the board. Test 2, context window. A solo dev loading a full codebase or 200-page legal doc into chat needs to know their model won't cut off halfway through, because if you hit a context ceiling mid-task, you lose work, you lose time, and you're chunking everything manually. What surprised me here is how clean this one is. Fable 5 gives you a full 1M token context window on all paid plans, no asterisks, while Claude Opus 4.8 caps you at 500k tokens in chat, and you only get 1M if you're using Claude Code with credits, which is a real restriction for regular chat workflows. Fable 5 wins context window, and I was expecting both to just match at 1M tokens since that's become pretty standard. But Opus 4.8's 500k chat limit is a real bottleneck if you're not in Claude Code, so that brings Fable 5 to 2, Claude Opus 4.8 still at 0. Test 3, real-time information. You've probably heard that knowledge cutoffs don't matter much, but ask either model about a product that launched last month or a stock price from this morning, and you'll feel the difference fast, because stale data in a live workflow will get you wrong answers and you won't always catch it. I looked at this one pretty carefully. Claude Opus 4.8 has built-in Brave search, so it can pull live data from the web right now, while Fable 5 has no web search at all and its knowledge is frozen at January 2026, which is a clear feature gap, not a close call. Claude Opus 4.8 takes real-time information, no contest. I didn't expect this to be such a one-sided feature gap, but Fable 5 just doesn't have web search and Opus 4.8 does, so that makes it 2-1, Fable 5 still ahead, but Opus 4.8 is on the board. 2 tests left, and creative writing has no clean winner, while the pricing test is the one that actually decides whether Fable 5's double cost is worth it at scale. So don't skip that last one, because that's where the real decision lives. Test 4, creative writing. A content team paying double per token for a model that drifts off track past 3,000 words is burning budget fast, and if your model loses narrative coherence in a long piece, you're rewriting it yourself, which kills the whole point of using AI for this. Okay, so what I found is that the data is pretty thin here. Community tests give Fable 5 a 4 out of 5 on raw writing quality, and say it holds coherence past 3,000 words, while Opus 4.8 reportedly drifts past 5,000 words. But I couldn't find any independently verified head-to-head numbers, so take this one with a grain of salt. Creative writing is a tie. The community data leans toward Fable 5, but without hard verified numbers, I can't call it, so the score stays at 2 for Fable 5, 1 for Claude Opus 4.8, with 1 tied. Test 5, pricing and cost. Fable 5 runs $50 per million output tokens versus 25 for Claude Opus 4.8, and if you're running a high-volume pipeline, that gap compounds fast, because at 1,000,000 output tokens a day, you're looking at an extra $25 every single day just from picking the wrong model. What I found is that Claude Opus 4.8 is listed at $5 input and $25 output per million, exactly half of Fable 5's 10 and 50. Though these are vendor-claimed numbers from Anthropic's pricing page, so I can't independently verify them. And Fable 5 does have a caching discount that drops input to $1 per million, but I couldn't find Opus 4.8's caching details. Pricing is a tie because both figures are vendor-claimed, and Fable 5's caching changes the math depending on your setup. I was expecting a clean win for Opus 4.8 on cost, but the caching wildcard makes it too close to call, so the final score is Fable 5 2, Claude Opus 4.81, 2 tied. Fable 5 clearly wins on hard reasoning, 29.3% versus 13.4% on Frontier Code Diamond, which is more than double, and it gives you a consistent 1M token context window with no plan restrictions. Plus community tests put its creative writing and narrative coherence ahead of Claude Opus 4.8. Claude Opus 4.8 wins on real-time info with built-in Brave Search, which Fable 5 just doesn't have, and it also carries a strong 88.6% SWE bench verified score for software engineering work, plus it's listed at half the rate per token, $5 input and $25 output per million. If you need an answer in 60 seconds, pure reasoning power, and a full 1M context window, go Fable 5. Live web data or cost at scale is your priority, go Claude Opus 4.8. That 29.3 versus 13.4 gap on Frontier Code Diamond is real, but it only matters if raw intelligence is actually your bottleneck. I ran Claude Opus 4.8 against Gemini 2.5 Pro next, and the price gap flips in a way that makes the Fable 5 decision look a lot simpler. So if cost at scale is your main concern, that one's already on the channel.